This is not meth.
Hey, hope you're doing well. Today I've got an exciting list to share with you. We are going to be talking about the most famous TV show chemistry teacher, Walter White. Even after the release of the spin-off Better Call Saul and the movie El Camino, most of us still can't get over Breaking Bad. 62 episodes were enough to hook us and make us fall in love with cooking. Yeah, cooking. Throughout the seasons, Walter White became an iconic character as we saw some massive character development. So sit back, relax, and get ready for an epic recap.
What's your name? Heisenberg. Okay.
Our countdown starts with Walter blowing up Tuco's office. This is the first episode where we see the bald head of Walter White. Let's go back when Heisenberg started his business with Jesse and when they were new in the meth dealing business.
But you know the business. And I know the chemistry.
Tuco Salamanca, one of the business's badasses, stole Jesse's meth and refused to pay him. This is when Heisenberg had to take action. Going to Tuco's headquarters holding a bag of crystal, Walter asks for compensation.
35 for the pound of meth you stole, and another 15 for my partner's pain and suffering.
Tuco and his gang laugh in his face, stating that Walter walked in there and bought him more meth. With a revealing smirk, Walter reveals that it isn't meth. He takes the crystalline piece and hurls it to the ground. One of the biggest TV series explosions occurs next, blowing out Tuco's hideout. Never underestimate the power of an angry teacher.
Money up front.
Money up front.
The moment I do, where are you gonna stick me with that broken piece of plate?
For our next badass Walter White moment, let's jump in time and dive in one of the most iconic Breaking Bad scenes, Walter killing Krazy 8. If Walter White was only covered by health insurance, we would have avoided so many deaths, right? In this scene, we can notice the character development from Walter White to Heisenberg. Krazy 8 is Jesse's associate. Surviving a phosphine gas asphyxiation, Krazy 8 ends up locked in Jesse's basement, attached to a pole.
Hell, write you a check right now if you let me go.
Jesse and Walter flip a coin and it's Walt's job to get rid of Krazy 8, but it's easier said than done. Walter talks to Krazy 8, tries to avoid killing him, and even feeds him.
It's safe. There's no poison.
But when he notices that a piece of broken plate's gone missing, Walter understands that Krazy wouldn't think twice about killing him.
Why are you doing this? Why are you doing this?
Walter manages to choke Krazy and then disposes of the body. This is the first murder committed by Walt. We shouldn't be rooting for a murderer, right? But this is the power of Breaking Bad, the creation of identification and empathy towards an atypical main character. Love, love, love. What's better than a love story? For Walter White, there are more things important. In our 8th moment, Walter watches Jane die. Gentle reminder here, Jane is Jesse Pinkman's girlfriend. For Walter, she was more than that. Jane was a distraction and a bad influence. She wanted Jesse out of the cooking business and was threatening Walter by blackmailing him.
Do right by Jesse tonight, or I will burn you to the ground.
Walter watched Jane slowly overdosing, agonizing and asphyxiating on her own vomit. Whether it was a way to protect Jesse or just a way to protect his business, it was a shocking scene.
We will be removing 1,000 gallons of methylamine from the tanker car, but replacing it with about 9/10 of that volume in water.
Number 7 is a moment that seems to be the climax of a Western film. The train heist scene is more proof of Heisenberg being the mastermind behind every Breaking Bad sequence. In this episode, Walter, Jesse, Mike, and a few other collaborators try to rob methylamine, which is an important component of the meth recipe, from a freight train.
Go, go, go!
The plan consisted of digging holes to hide empty tankers, stealing the methylamine and replacing it with water. At this point of the story now, then, we're already rooting for Heisenberg and we want him to get the methylamine. This is what enhances the suspense at the end of the scene.
Now, go, go, go.
When Walt doesn't want Jesse to detach the hose too early.
Hey! Hold it! Hold it steady!
Some critics say it wasn't a plausible plan, but it did work on a narrative level.
Yeah, thanks!
You took my child.
Because you need to learn.
You bring her back!
Maybe now you'll listen. Maybe now you'll use your damn head.
Phone calls have never been this emotional. If you've ever wondered whether there was any difference between Walter White and Heisenberg, this sequence will give you the answer. Walter calling Skyler is not only a decisive moment in the narrative structure, but it also shows the thin line separating two characters living in the same actor's body.
You stupid bitch.
The scene starts with everyone at Walter's house, including the police who were tapping Skyler's phone and trying to trace Walter. The speech given by Walt absolved her from any wrongdoing. It may seem abusive and violent, but all he was trying to do is prove her innocence in front of the police.
You're always whining and complaining about how I make my money, just dragging me down while I do everything.
This moment not only showed us the cold face of Heisenberg, but also the love he still has for Skyler. Skyler and Walt always had that tough love-hate relationship, but who thought that you could convey the truth by saying so many lies?
I built this. Me alone. Nobody else.
You're right.
You know, I gotta be straight with you, man. Taking out all these guys is doable. But hitting them in 3 separate jails all within 2 minutes? Whacking Bin Laden wasn't this complicated.
Number 5 is one of the most violent scenes in Breaking Bad, the Prison Mayhem scene. After silencing his associate Mike Ehrmantraut by murdering him, Walter moves to a bigger scale by trying to silence 10 imprisoned men that used to operate with Mike. To do so, Walter had to collaborate with a white supremacist gang.
The only question is, are you the man to do it?
With a jazz song as a background sound and cinematography techniques sticking to the actors' bodies, Walter manages to kill 10 men in less than 2 minutes. Heisenberg, contemplating the view, is far away from the bloodshed. The paradox built between the two atmospheres puts Walt in a powerful position. A parallel montage links the two scenes as if Walter had eyes everywhere. One should probably think twice before trying to cave in Walt's business.
Yes, it's done.
If Walter blowing up Tuco's office shook you, you should take a look at this mind-blowing scene next. Our 4th most badass Walter White moment is Walter blowing up Gus Fring. Gus Fring's the most memorable antagonist of Breaking Bad. Sharp-minded and as complex as Heisenberg's character, Gus wanted to have a monopoly on the meth business. Walter had no other choice but to kill him. It sounds terrible, but if you're a die-hard fan, you're probably used to all these murders anyway. Walter used Hector Salamanca to execute his plan.
I'm offering you an opportunity for revenge.
He attached a pipe bomb to Hector's wheelchair and waited for Gus to come close to the nursing home. The bomb detonated, and it's a camera pan that allows us to see the deteriorated half of Gus's face. No wonder the episode was named Face Off. When Walter says he'll blow minds, he really means it.
Gus is dead. Who are you talking to right now? Who is it you think you see?
Walter White sure likes games, doesn't he? But if there's a game you shouldn't play with him, it's Knock Knock, because he's the one who knocks.
A guy opens his door and gets shot and you think that of me? No. I am the one who knocks.
The speech given in this scene is iconic and marks a new chapter in the Walter arc. I'm not in danger, Skyler. I am the danger. To all those who knew the chemistry teacher, please welcome Heisenberg.
I am not in danger, Skyler. I am the danger.
Sure, Walter's been slowly mutating into a modern version of the Godfather, but this is the first time we see him driven by his ego and his sociopathic side.
Do you know how much I make a year? I mean, even if I told you, you wouldn't believe it.
Bryan Cranston delivered an amazing performance here. The close-up shots made this atmosphere even more intense and transformed us into witnesses. This was when the pride took over, but who's to blame when you've got a wife who doesn't believe you in spite of what you achieve?
Oh no, Walt, you have to stop. You have to stop this. It's immoral, it's illegal.
I'm the man who killed Gus Fring.
Bullshit. Cartel got Fring.
You sure?
Have you forgotten Walter White's real name in the meth business? Our second moment should bring you a bit of enlightenment.
Say my name.
In a wide-angle shot, we see the aligned negotiator standing in front of Walter. Walter ordering "say my name" is his Icarus moment. It's Walter's ego speaking here. Even though Walt's never wanted to be a drug lord, he finds himself caught in the system and thriving for recognition and fame.
Who the hell are you?
You know. You all know exactly who I am.
He's not unknown anymore at this point. He's become a myth. The director did an amazing job by framing Heisenberg in a higher position, standing in front of a bowed, powerless creature.
Grade school T-ball versus the New York Yankees.
He surely believes he's the king and that now it's his time.
Wait, Jack.
Where you want it?
Oh, gee, I don't know. Anywhere but my living room. Take them out back.
Naturally, we've saved the best for last. Walter's last breath is at number 1. Every reign eventually collapses, doesn't it? But not every collapsing is an end. You may want to call it Walter's last scene, since a large majority of Breaking Bad fans refuse to accept Heisenberg's death. After killing all of those neo-Nazis that stole his meth, having closure with Skyler and their daughter, and freeing Jesse, he finds himself rich but alone, like any villain in any movie, I suppose.
I did it for me. I was good at it.
Walter used an oscillating machine gun to kill Jack Welker's gang, but he got shot too. In the final scene, we see Walter White smirking. The background music suddenly combined with police sirens, and it's a close-up that allows us to understand that Walt is bleeding. We cut and we discover Walt lying on the ground, bleeding. The cameras slowly move from Walt as if we're finally stepping out of Heisenberg's mind. We've talked about our personal favourite moments of Walter White, highlighting those we think have shown off the best parts of him. But what have been your favourite moments from the series? And what do you think we may have missed out on our list that should have been in there? Let us know in the comments below. Thanks so much for watching this video. Make sure you please leave a like, subscribe, and turn on the bell notification so you never miss a single one of our countdown videos. And also, let us know which list you'd like to see next. I'll see you next time on
Say my name.
the TV Regent.
You're goddamn right.